what if a world-famous artist decided to just vanish? I don't mean just fade from the spotlight. I mean meticulously erase his own existence. Today, we are unraveling the absolutely bizarre mystery of Jack Joblin, the artist who became a ghost on purpose. And, I mean, he really tried to erase himself. He didn't just retire. He systematically went back and tried to scrub his own name from history. It's a story that's part art world legend, part detective novel, and honestly, it is completely fascinating. So here's how the mystery plays out. Back in the 60s and 70s, Joblin was a huge deal, famous for these provocative fish meat artworks. But then, he starts to just disappear. He buys his own work back, purges his name from archives, and poof, he's gone. For decades, nothing. And then, in 2011, a locked door is opened in an abandoned German apartment, and the whole story just takes this unbelievable turn. I mean, this vanishing act was a work of art in itself. It wasn't just him stepping away. It was a deliberate, systematic deletion from the public record. The real puzzle is how he pulled it off. How does an artist, at the very height of his fame, become a total ghost in the archives? Some people are pretty sure he couldn't have done it all by himself. And that brings us to the discovery in Freiburg. Imagine this. An abandoned apartment gets opened up and it is filled, floor to ceiling, with what are called Fleischobjekte, or meat objects. This was Joblin's secret world, an entire lifetime of hidden art, notes, even a computer, all revealing what he'd been thinking and creating in total isolation for more than 20 years. So why do it? Why the disappearance? Why the, obsession with meat? Turns out, the answer wasn't just about hiding, it was about revealing a philosophy. You see, the meat wasn't just there for shock value. It was the key to this really radical idea about what art and what life could actually be. This one quote, this is the key to his entire way of thinking. For Joblin, the dead meat in his art had one single purpose: to make you intensely, uncomfortably conscious of your own living flesh. It was this visceral, shocking reminder that you are alive, right here, right now. Now, to really get just how radical this was, you have to know about his contemporary, the art giant Joseph Beuys. Joblin wasn't just influenced by Beuys. He basically saw himself as taking Beuys' most famous idea and pushing it to its absolute extreme conclusion. So Beuys famously declared, every human is an artist, but that implies you need to create something, right? You have to act, to do. But Joblin's big leap was to say, no, every human is art. The difference there is huge. For Joblin, your very existence, your living, breathing body is already the masterpiece. It's a fundamental shift from doing something to simply being. Okay, so Joblin's story didn't just end with that discovery. His son and a group of followers went on to found the Joblin Factory to unleash his ideas on the world. And they aren't just, hanging his old work in museums. They are taking his philosophy to the streets in some really unconventional ways. Yeah, their methods are just as provocative as Joblin's art ever was. They stage these guerrilla exhibitions at major art shows, they hand out these little mirrors they call memento multiples, literally forcing people to look at themselves and see themselves as a piece of art. And through books and new works, they're keeping his philosophy of flesh and salmon alive and kicking. And all of this, it all builds to the final and most personal point of his entire life's work. Because in the end, his disappearance wasn't about hiding himself. It was about revealing something universal about us. He called it his Meat Art Manifesto, and it's this simple 3-step evolution. Step 1, that's art, where you take back the power to decide what art is for yourself. Step 2, my art, where you recognize your own power to create. But that final leap, that's meat art, the profound realization that you are the art. And this, right here, is the question at the very heart of it all. This is the question Joblin's entire mysterious life poses to every one of us. How does your world change, your perspective, the way you interact with people, if you start seeing everyone, including yourself, as a living, breathing work of art? And maybe this is the answer. Thomas Gloom, who is a friend of Joblin's, said that when you start to see everyone as art, you start to pause a little, you linger. You begin to observe the world and the people in it differently. Suddenly, everything is worthy of your attention. The moment itself becomes beautiful, simply because you are seeing it, and yourself, in a completely new light.